Okay, let me just check. Let me check. Do a mic check real quick. You guys out there. All right, we are live. We are live. Hey, 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 guys. Oh my gosh, it's been a minute. It has been a minute. I have missed you guys. I surely have. But listen, life has been lifing. All the things have been happening. And you know what? Sometimes we just have to hit the pause button, okay, and let it do what it do, because ain't no point in trying to show up when you can't truly show up, right? Like showing up in all your devastation. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. That ain't it. So we just have to regroup sometimes. We just have to regroup and then, unhit the pause button and come on back, right? So that's what we're doing. That is what we're doing. We are back with another episode of the Eventful Life TV, Living Out Loud. I am your host, Janelle Boyd. I am so excited to be back with you. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, I am the founder of the Eventful Life Enterprises. I am an event producer. I'm also a mompreneur to two phenomenal little boys who like to affectionately think that I am their roommate, but that's okay. We won't go there today. And then I also, in this space, I am what I like to affectionately call myself an instigator. I like to challenge you to think a little bit differently, just about life, about business, about the things that you aspire to do as a woman in business. And I'd like you to think about it from the framework of, guess what? When I fall down, I get back up. I fail forward, because that's what the women that I bring you each and every week, that is what they are doing. They are walking this walk, they are talking this talk, but they're doing it authentically, y'all. And they're doing it from the framework of, guess what? We all have some commonalities. And you know what one of those are? One of those commonalities is that at some point in our journey, we have failed. At some point in our journey, we have failed flat on our face, you know what? But that's okay. When we are in this space and we get to talk about it together, we get to share, that's where we realize, that's where we break those chains of, hey, you know what? I'm not in this alone. So listen, I'm so glad you're here. You know what I always say, sharing is caring. So if you know another woman who needs this in their life, who needs to hear these words, who needs to hear from the womanpreneur that I'm bringing you today, then please hit the share button and make sure you also go to YouTube, where you can sign up and follow us along on the Eventful Life TV, where there are many more episodes to come. Okay. All right. So with that being said, I know you see this bright, beautiful, and bubbly gal to my left, okay? You cannot miss her, okay? And she is phenomenal. I've had the pleasure of being in her space for a short time, but it feels like a long time because of just the connection that we've been able to establish already. And so I'm so excited to be chatting with Dr. Marsie today. She is the founder of the Happy and Healthy Coach. Right? Is that correct? Is that right? Did I say that right, Dr. Murray? Okay. So
you did. You're well.
Okay. And she is a health advocate. She is a wellness woman. She is a mompreneur. She really, I mean, yeah, I don't even know how old she is, but what I'm gonna tell you is that right now she's looking 25. She looks like she's 25 sitting right next to me, okay? Looking like she just came out of college. I know she's been out of college, but that's how fabulous she is. She's aging backwards, okay? So I'm so excited to have you, Dr. Marsie. Thank you for joining me this evening.
Thanks for having me. And she is 51, so there you go.
Listen, I'm not afraid to tell it.
I'm not afraid. I love it. I love to say my age so people can say, you do? You are? Right. I can't believe it. But I'm so excited to be here, Janelle. Thank you so much for having me. Sideline, I've been stalking you for a minute. I'm like, you need somebody on your show? Hey, you need somebody to do this? I've been waiting for this conversation. So thank you for answering my messages.
Oh no, you know what? It is so mutual, and that's what makes it so wonderful because we have a mutual affinity for each other. So, like I always say, time meets space meets opportunity, and here we are, right? So this is awesome. And so, guys, today we're going to be talking a little bit about how to move from surviving to thriving. Okay. I mean, listen, Dr. Marcie, I don't know about you, but I'm still trying to figure out if I love it here or not.
Yeah, you love it here or no? I
Right
don't know.
or
I'm trying to
no?
figure it
That's
out,
right.
right? You're right. Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
think that it's a real question around surviving, because so often we spend time in that space that we don't even know that there's something else.
That's right.
And it's not just, it could be with surviving at work or coming home and trying to manage kids and a family and surviving there, and the laundry. For me, I'm like, I'm not thriving with this laundry.
Right.
I'm not,
No, we don't love the
and it's
laundry.
just, yeah, we don't love it. It's beating me this week. But
Yeah.
I think it is about recognizing that you could be in thriving mode in some area and then surviving mode in other areas. And so you just become
Mm,
awakened to what your real life is like and what you really want for your life. And I think that
yes.
is the most powerful thing, is
Yeah.
really taking ownership of those choices.
Yeah, yeah. No, you know what? That's so good. That's so good because I love the fact that you said you could be surviving in some areas, right? Because sometimes we do this kind of all or nothing to ourselves where it's like, oh, I'm just out here surviving, like just trying to survive, period. When really it could just be that some areas right now are, looking real cray cray, while other areas, like you said, you could be thriving. You could be totally thriving at your job or in your career or in your, your entrepreneurial path, while your family life might be looking real crazy right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
that's the truth.
it's
It's
the
life. I think
truth.
that's part
Yeah.
of it, right? It's being able to take that inventory so
Yeah.
that you can make different choices and you can choose. Like, I want to thrive in every area of my life. I'm greedy like that. I'm like,
That's
God, look, I want, yep, I want that
I'm
and
greedy
that
like
and
that.
all and that, and give me all of that. I believe that I was created to thrive,
That's right.
especially for me when it comes to health and wellness, right? So for
Yes.
me, health and wellness
Talk a
is
little bit
the
about that. How did
pinnacle
you,
to that.
yeah, how did you, with your journey, talk a little bit about how you applied that, moving from surviving to thriving in your health and wellness journey?
So I think it's pretty much like you said, we have all fallen down flat on our face,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
that was for me. I think that sometimes it is that falling that makes you recognize that you are actually out of pocket. You really are. And so for
You out of
me, it
order.
was all of the things, right? So for me, when it came to my health and wellness, it started from, so I got married when I was 35, had my
Mhm.
first child when I was 36, my second child at 38, and then climbing the corporate ladder. I was
Mhm.
always active until that season in my life where all this newness
Mm.
came. All this
Yeah.
newness came for me. I went from being a single woman, thriving, have all the time in the world, but
Yeah.
doing all the things, and living as a clinician, driving
Yeah.
the fancy car and the house, and I was loving life, fell in love, and then so everything happened very quickly. Although we were
Yeah.
dating for a long time, we got married and then started our family pretty fast.
Wow.
And all of that changed. I never really had time to adjust from being a single woman to being a wife and a mom and a
Yeah.
homeowner, and I got a dog and all in
Yeah.
corporate America,
Like
that
I
I
got
was
all these things.
struggling. I got all the things. I got all the things. All my boxes were checked.
Yeah.
And I was struggling. But because
Mm.
of what I believed about being a woman, handling her business, I didn't believe I could raise my hand and say, I'm in trouble. Like, I'm
Right.
struggling. It
Right.
was really did not feel comfortable, or even no, I didn't mean not to talk about it, but it just wasn't what we did, talk
Yeah.
about what I felt like I felt overwhelmed. And so oftentimes for me, I would choose the laundry or choose to work late or choose, to whatever that thing is,
Mm-hmm.
over my health and wellness, like over even whatever, eating well, right?
Yeah.
Moving my body, getting adequate sleep. Those fundamentals that are needed to live well, I stopped doing. And for me, it made everything else deteriorate, namely my relationship with my husband, because I was always so overwhelmed and resentful and so just not fun. I used to be like, I was like, this is fun, like, that's always been me. But that season of my life where I was not fun, I was like, they gotta learn, the kids gotta learn how to read. They gotta ride the bike. They need to do this. I need to do it. I just was so
you were the drill sergeant. You were.
Yeah, I was like, they gotta do other things. Now I'm a winner. We got to win in this house, And all the time I was struggling. I was really struggling.
Yeah.
I was that was the heaviest in terms of me, in terms of weight. I was like over 50 pounds over my ideal weight. But because I was always so active, I didn't know what to do. It was very hard. It was a very dark time for me. And thankfully, I was about to leave my husband, and he suggested counseling. I was really like, I was like, you can kick rocks. I'm over it. I can't do it. And
I'm out of here.
And I can't. Goodbye. You and the kids. But we went to counseling, and I was leaving everybody. Okay.
Yes.
But we went to counseling, and the counselor helped me to realize that it was me. I was really struggling. I was struggling with me. And I stayed in counseling for a whole year, and I returned back to myself. And that was really the turning point. And I went to Institute of Integrative Nutrition, and I earned my certificate as an integrative nutrition health coach for me, to heal me. I never intended to own a business, but I'm always like that. I'm always like, if I learn something, I want to teach everybody.
Right.
Invite everybody over to the house. Y'all, are y'all going through menopause? We was having group sessions at my house about talking about all the things. And so that kind of started my desire to really help. I've always been like that. I'm a healthcare practitioner. I'm a clinical pharmacist, biology degree. So I love
that's in you.
I'm fascinated by the human body. So I just wanted to have these conversations that I felt that we weren't having an open space. And I needed to highlight that. And so that kind of started the everybody come to the house. We was having monthly meetings.
But I want to bring up the fact, and I hope, the audience, as they listen to this, one of the things that you were very vulnerable about sharing just now is that, you shifted from, one place, like what you were at one point, right? You were single, you were doing your thing, and then you shifted into this other place in your life very quickly, right? There was this quick transition, quick change, right? And what sometimes happens is physically we make this change, but it takes this time to catch up, because this usually is the resistant part. Like, wait, what we doing now? But that's not what we were doing. We were living our life. We were doing our own thing. We didn't have all these responsibilities. Wait, now you're telling me I need regimen, I need structure, I need routine. I got to check in with people. You know what I'm saying? So this takes a minute to get caught up. And I just want to equate that to what I feel like a lot of women are doing right now through this pandemic. The physical part of us has shifted multiple times, right? So we done shifted into a pandemic, we're trying to shift out of a pandemic, but this is still trying to catch up. Our inner being is still trying to catch up, because we're like, we had all these things going on before the pandemic. The pandemic came in and shut it down. And then, so we were like, okay, wait, we're not doing none of that no more. And now we're coming out of it, but this is still trying to figure out, okay, so what does all of this mean for me now? And I just feel like what you experienced was almost a form of that as well,
I would say this. I think I agree, totally agree with you. I just believe that I like, so for me, so we went to marriage counseling up to get married, right?
Yeah.
After we got married, we didn't get any more counseling, right? We were just in
Right.
it. Now it was dropped off on the beach somewhere and was, on the desert island together.
Right.
But when I became a mother, like, of course I saw my mom, but
Yeah.
I was just a first time mom. I mean, I had my mom there to call on, but it was so many subconscious things. I was like, oh, my mom always seemed to have it together. Like I always had my
Right.
clothes was clean. The house was always clean. Like she
Yeah.
cooked Thanksgiving dinner. Like, I'm like, you
Yeah.
want me to do what? So I believe that I underestimated the training part,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that I still needed a community. I still needed that support. Just because I
Mm,
got married, I was still learning to be a wife, learning
mhm.
we knew each other individually, but now we're learning to
Yeah.
live as husband and wife, right?
Yeah.
We're learning to be parents together.
Yeah.
I became new things. So he never knew me as a wife because I wasn't his wife yet. He never knew me
Right.
and I never knew him as a husband. And I never knew myself. So I
Yeah.
underestimated, and I don't do this anymore. Whenever there's a new thing that happens, we always check in and we have conversations around, do we
Mm,
even need a third party to
that's
help
good.
us through this transition, right? Or if I
Yeah.
say, oh, I'm feeling like I need, as I'm going through things, I think
Yeah.
that is the part, is the community.
There you go.
It is, yeah, your mind is still adjusting because that's just how your brain does. It's how our
Yeah.
brain is designed to protect us, right? And
Yeah.
so that's what it does. Like, yeah, my mind was there, but I physically was there, but I just didn't have a skill set. I
Yeah.
didn't know,
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
know what I didn't know. And
Yeah.
then once I understood that I needed to be more open and lean
Yeah.
on my village and to be around other women who were also in this community,
Yeah.
of motherhood,
Yeah.
of being a wife, of being a woman over 40,
Mhm.
then things changed for me. I could
Yeah.
feel more, so that I didn't have to be perfect. I didn't have to have all the answers. I
Right.
could say, I don't know. I'm
That's
afraid. I
right.
feel like this. I feel like
That's
that. I could
right.
be more
That's right.
open and
Yeah.
real and grow
But
even through
aren't
my
those the
learning.
same things that we need right now? Like I love everything you're saying, Dr. Marcy, because I'm like, oh, I hope y'all taking notes. Cause she said community. I'm like, right now in this, climate that we're in, you need a community. You need,
Yes.
I don't care if it's your next door neighbor, if it's, you know, Billy, Tom, and Bo Peep who you don't even know, but y'all out here in Facebook land and y'all like, look, we got some commonalities. Let that be your community. But you need a community. That's the first thing she said. Then you said you need to know that it is okay to share vulnerably, right? What you are going through, like what you are feeling, what you are dealing with, right? Because I mean, that's a big one. Like we are so afraid to say, yeah, I'm struggling right now. I'm not dealing good with this right now. I done been through a lot right now, coming through this pandemic where I lost a lot or I lost somebody or whatever.
Mm.
We got to be willing to say how it's really impacting us, and because that then leads us to what we need, right? And that was the next thing you said, which is, okay, then I was able to identify what I need, which
Mm-hmm.
sent you to the therapist and then to the nutrition community,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, that's it, Dr. Marcy. You're spot on, like that. Your whole
Yeah.
journey is really everybody's journey.
I tell people it's not unique, especially for, I think, well, I'll just say, I'm sure men go through their own things as well, but
Sure.
for the community of women I'm around, it's really not unique. A lot of times we self-sacrifice in order,
Yeah.
because we think that we're supposed to and we
Yeah.
should, and this is what it is. Only person that's on the other side of that, someone who takes my health and wellness is my top priority.
Mm, gotta
I
be.
know that it's just around being able to have someone to teach you how
Yeah.
to, you know, live well beyond 40. And that's really what I
Yeah.
teach, is how do you live well beyond 40, right? How do you work with your body's natural instinct to live well, right?
That's good.
Instead of working against it. So I did all the diets and all the things. I even had liposuction, but 10 years ago, right? So because I was trying to force my body into this way that I thought it should be, into this, if I get skinny, then I'd be happy. When I was skinny, I was, but that's really not, that's a false. Those are lies that I was telling myself, right? And so what I found was when I got skinny, I still wasn't
happy.
it. So I was forced to say, well, this is something else. My body, let me lean into and listen and become in tune with myself, my SELF, myself, my being. And that is what aligned everything, is when I took that approach and worked with my body and not against it, everything changed for me. And that's really when I decided that I needed to be more of a voice. And my purpose was tied to health. It was tied to healthcare. It always has been. From biology degree from Hampton, doctorate in pharmacy, you know, being a clinician in the sciences, and then coupling it with my spiritual walk has just been, it's been my life's purpose.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. And I feel like, again, when we do tune in to ourselves, then that is when we are able to really do more tuning, as far as what we put out, what we vibrate out. Because it's this in here that is going to resonate out here, So I'm like, y'all, we gotta get right. We gotta get right up in here. And I could, I can totally attest to the same. I definitely know and am more aware now when I am not in tune and in alignment, just in my inner being, and how that reverberates out is always key. It really is.
You're right. Absolutely right. You won't get any arguments from me. I mean, it really, it feels counterintuitive, but it actually is in alignment when you do flow from the inside out. When you are able to take control of what feels right for you, your choices. And one thing that I'm learning is, and I used to, up until very recently, do a lot of coaching around past trauma, because that's why I went to IIM, was because I needed to heal my relationship with food. And so it's in that healing that I was able to emerge. And so I really, I used to really coach around healing those traumas. And now I've been shifting that approach to really, how do you live and really bring forth the person that you already are, right? You're already born to be this person. It's already divinely in you. How do I help facilitate the birth of that version of yourself, rather than staying stuck in the trauma? Acknowledge it, but move on. And I'm thankful for the community that has helped me to understand the distinction.
No, that's powerful. That's powerful. I think that the healing part is necessary, and it's powerful for each and every one of us, because I truly feel like, coming into, for each of us, and this, I'm speaking to all my women out there, but for each of us coming through this pandemic, there has to have been some sort of healing that has occurred. Because again, maybe you lost plans, maybe you lost finances, maybe you lost resources, maybe you lost loved ones, maybe you lost career paths. There's gonna be a semblance of that you have to mourn and heal from that, so that you can move forward in a organic way, like, so that you can move forward in a positive way, right? And you don't carry that, because just like you're just talking about, if I don't heal from this, then I'm gonna repeat that, or there's gonna be some semblance of those old patterns that are gonna creep back up again. And I think we all have to do the part that Dr. Marsie just said, which is heal first, but then from there move forward. move forward.
Mhm.
Because you don't want to stay
Yeah.
stuck in, well, I don't know, we probably all got that uncle or cousin or somebody who's like, well, I remember when I was on the high school basketball team and I was all-star and I was gonna be in the NBA. I don't want to be that person.
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
What, something you said, like, I think it's not just positivity, it's intentional, right? It's
Yeah.
like moving forward in an intentional way. And it's ironic because my youngest son asked me today, like, why can't we go back? We were talking about time. And why do we just live on this plane? And I said, God can transcend time, right? God lives on all the planes, but we only live on one time trajectory, and that is forward. We
That's so
cannot
good.
physically go backwards.
That's right.
We cannot do anything. We can go
Nope.
back in time. We can't do anything. We only live on one plane, and that is a forward moving plane, right? On one timeline. As we know it. And that is where we should exist. I don't think that, understanding the past is important because then you can kind of recognize your behaviors, but it's important to live, number one, in the present, but also turn forward, right? Because that's where nature is going. That's where the natural trajectory is already going, is forward.
I love it.
And so I'm a firm believer of that.
Move forward. There you go. There you go. Okay. Drop the mic. Okay. one last, we're getting ready to close out, guys. This, the time always goes by so fast, but this has been such a rich conversation. And Dr. Marsie, thank you so much. Just leave them with one last little nugget. If there was one piece of advice that you would leave the women out there with, in terms of moving from surviving to thriving, what would that be?
Focus on make your health and wellness a priority. That you can absolutely live well beyond 40. That's the audience that I speak to, just because we are definitely in a space where we can make a unique impact on the world because of our wisdom and because of our lived experiences. And so I encourage you to know that you can live well after 40 when you eat, move, and rest well. And so focusing on those three things will absolutely change your life.
Awesome. And how can they stay connected with you and reach out to you?
I'm on all social platforms at Dr. Marsie. So you can find me there, inbox me. You can always email me at hello@Dr. Marsie.
Yes. Thank you so much. This was wonderful. And thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, it has been so wonderful to be back with you this Thursday. Listen, we will be back again, same time, same place next Thursday with another fabulous mompreneur. Remember, guys, you can have it all. You just have to be okay with having it on your own terms in your own time. Until next time, I will see you, my friends. Be blessed.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, Janelle.